Hello, hello, and welcome to the very first episode of White Album 2's Coda. This has finally been released in English. Very excited to be playing through the translation for the first time. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, Coda is under the assumption that you were very nice to Setsuna during the closing chapter, and then you finally end up making it here. Let's see how it continues. We start off with a cutscene.
マイリースポーツからの記事です。トーマカズサ日本公演ついに決定。今年10月のジェバンニ国際ピアノコンクールで日本人最高位の4位に輝いた現在ウィーン在住のピアニストトーマカズサさんが早ければ年明け早々にも日本での凱旋公演を行う可能性のあることが関係者の話で明らかになりました。カズサさんは1990年にやはり
They blurred out her birth year.
トーマ陽子さんの長女として生まれ日本で生まれ育ちました。そして北条大学附属学園の音楽科を卒業とともに
I wonder why they bothered to do that. Like, would it really make a difference if they gave her a canon birth year?
その後みるみるうちに頭角を現していき2年前にはトラスティ国際コンクールで2位入賞。その世界で通用する実力とトーマ陽子の娘という話題性、さらにはモデルと見まがうばかりの美貌でたちまち日本中の注目を集めることに。そして今年とうとう世界三大ピアノコンクールと名高いジェバンニ国際でかつて母親が獲得したのと同じ4位入賞を果たし一気にブレイクしました。なおこの4位という順位なんですが実は審査員の間でもかなり評価が分かれ1位をしていた審査員が辞任してしまうという騒動も。本当ならメダルもしくは優勝もあったのではという声も聞かれるほどの名演奏だったとのことです。そんな快挙に対しカズサさんの受賞以来日本のファンからは来日公演を望む声が日増しに高まる一方でした。今までは演奏活動もヨーロッパのみに絞り日本のファンの前に姿を現すことは一度もなかったカズサさん。しかしこの度所属事務所であるトーマ陽子オフィスが日本の方々の強い要望に応えるため初の来日公演を計画しているとの情報があるそうです。時期は早ければ年明け早々。現在スケジュールを調整中とのことです。クラシックファンだけでなく普段音楽に縁がない幅広い層のファンを獲得しているカズサさん。一刻も早い朗報が望まれて
Good morning, Haruki. He doesn't want to hear it. Another day begins with my habitual hot morning shower, which, as always, washes my sleepiness away and gives my body its sensation and warmth back. It's very cold in my room, and it's still dark outside. Even though I've been doing this every day, it's still pretty hard to get up during this season. So Haruki is absolutely the type of person who keeps the thermostat super low and insists on it and insists that he's fine, even though it's freezing in his house. But today is Friday. After this one last day awaits the weekend that I've been looking forward to. Well, I still have work on Sunday though.
おい北原、昨日頼んだ世論調査の集計
まとめたものをサーバーにアップしてあります。各世代別の集計結果にコメントもつけました。昨べメールしておいたはずですが。
Adding that final comment. He's such a punk.
これ外注から上がってきた原稿構成頼む。8時までに。
わかりました。4時から打ち合わせなんで戻ってきてから超特急で。
ねえねえ北原くん、次回のタウン情報のコーナーなんだけどさ、実は末継町を取り上げようかと思ってるのよね。
うちの近辺って北条台以外には結構何もないですよ。まあそれでも候補は絞り込んでおきますが。
悪い、これ1ページにまとめといて。やり方はいつも通り。うわまずい、約束まであと2時間もない。
寒ぶりのうまい季節ですもんね。
やだな、そんなんじゃないって。あの先生はまめに催促しないと全然書いてくれなくて。というわけで今日は直帰です。
That one guy who Kisaki-san always goes to, and he gets feasted, he gets wined and dined. Why does he get the good
これを
jobs?
1ページって どんだけ削ればいいんだよ。
It's 3:45 p.m. Kyosha Building, 3rd floor, Kyograph Editing Department. My daily life hasn't changed since my days here as a part-timer. Kyosha PLC, Kyograph Editing Department, Kitahara Haruki. It's my first year in the company. In the editing department, I'm the youngest, or lowest, so to speak.
あとさ、北原、ちょっといい？この企画書なんだけど、後でレビューしてくんないかな。
戻ってきてからなら大丈夫ですけど、それより俺でいいんですか、松岡さん。
頼むよ。まともな意見くれるのお前くらいでさ。浜田さんはダメなところしか言わないし、鈴木さんは適当なことばっか言うし。
だってさ、まっちゃんの企画書って企画書になってないっていうか。
まず資料の書き方からしてなっちゃいないからな。相手に何を伝えたいのかが全然見えてこない。
They're so blunt.
それって誰も育ててくれなかったからですよ。俺も北原みたいにマリさんの下についてたら。
今頃入院してるに10万円。
What? No, they're not. That's crazy.
お前の勤務態度で風岡の部下なんかやっていけるか。ほんと仕事抱えててもすぐ帰りやがって。
なあ、みんなひどいだろ。頼りになるのは北原だけなんだよ。伝説の仕事魔人の直系に連なる風岡2世のお前しか。
Oh, I miss Mari-san already.
いや、いくらなんでもあの息は遠すぎますって。
私なら耐えられないけどな。後輩に手取り足取り指導してもらうなんて。
まあ言ってやるな。このプライドのなさも松岡の強みっちゃ強みだからな。それにお前もそろそろそんな余裕かましてられなくなるぞ。俺から見たら鈴木も北原といい勝負だ。
Or possibly more, because Haruki's willing to sacrifice everything else in his life for his work, as we've seen so far. I'm just a rookie. Thanks to the ubiquitous? I don't even know that word. Reputation of my master when I was a part-timer, no one in the editing department actually sees me as a newcomer. Who thinks like that anyway? How pretentious do you have to be?
俺そろそろ会議に行かないと。6時には戻ってきますんで。
アンサンブルの編集長の代理だったっけ？
ええ、雑誌広告の契約の件だそうで。だからどうしても正社員の同席が必要だって。
Since she's famous to the point where every single editing department knows about her, her influence has way too much power. No matter which editing department I went to, my job was made much easier by simply bringing up the nickname Kazaoka II. Wait, do you bring it up? Are you like, hi, I'm Haruki, I'm Kazaoka II? Because that's just a little bit awkward and pretentious.
あそこ編集長以外全部ヘンプロだもんね。この前専任の部下が欲しいってブツブツ言ってた。
あまりいい顔すんなよ北原。お前が嫌だったら俺が行って断ってきても。
問題ないですから。1年目で異動なんてこっちもごめんですから。それじゃあ行ってきます。
ちゃんと帰ってきてくれよ。俺今日は帰らずに待ってるから。8時までは。
I graduated from university in March, and just as I planned, I managed to secure a job at Kyosha. As such, the atmosphere of my workplace is no different from my part-time days, so I'm getting my taste of life as a working adult, without noticing much change. Well, yeah, because he was working like crazy even during university. It's really nothing different. Except for one single, not very small detail. My mentor, who trained me when I was still a part-timer, was invited to work at the American branch, so all that's left here is her legend. Oh, it feels kind of sad to me that Haruki's not there with her. That's why, instead of being left with an enormous mountain of organized work, I am left with an enormous mountain of disorganized work. And so, the first-year rookie, me, is supposed to find work within that mountain that's suitable for me, set priorities, and slowly work toward achieving them. I'm not trying to steal Matsuoka-san's line, but Hamada-san never makes these decisions for me. As usual, today I picked what's highest on my priority list. Actually, ever since my first job, Ensemble's chief editor, who I owe a lot to, has asked me to take a business discussion with the sales manager of a certain record company. But sending a newcomer like me as the substitute for the chief editor? I just hope they won't be offended.
遅くなりまして申し訳ありません。私、海洋社アンサンブル編集部の北原と申し。
はじめまして。ナイツレコード広報担当の小木曽と申します。
Oh
今
my
後ともよろしくお願いいたします。
She's so beautiful. I love her so much. She handed me her business card with a smile on her face, but I ended up leaving her hanging for a whole 3 minutes. 3 minutes, really? I'm definitely not cut out for this. We graduated from university in March and took our first steps into society down our own separate paths. Takeya is working for a cosmetics company as a salesman and frequently visits many stores in the city. I can definitely see Takeya doing that. He's a pretty boy, and he would be able to charm all the women into buying cosmetics. Since he's just as skillful of a womanizer as he used to be, he's rather popular with the female sales staff. Setting aside their age. What do you mean setting aside their age? Are they too old? He's gotten good reception all around in his first year. He still doesn't have an official girlfriend, but unlike before, now he doesn't have a mountain of unofficial girlfriends either. He settled all loose ends with those girls once he graduated, and now he's trying to appeal to a certain someone with his newfound uprightness. A certain someone. That certain someone being Io, who successfully realized her ambition of getting a job at a sporting goods maker. Nice, good for Io. She wanted to work as a designer, but since it's too competitive, she's now busy working in the HR department. Due to her already frank personality, further accentuated by her looks, she is popular among both her male and female coworkers. Ooh, I love that little tidbit. Her lack of interest in love hasn't changed, though. She doesn't have an official boyfriend either. So, he should still have a chance, but who knows for how long things will continue like this. And finally, Knights Records public relations newcomer, Ogiso Setsuna. After that Valentine's concert, she started to look for work related to singing, and she finally picked a decent record company. During her 4th year, she decided on her future career path. They hire very few people for this position, so I was a bit uneasy about her working in such a competitive field, but she succeeded magnificently in the end. It goes without saying that her grades and interview scores were great, but I'm also sure that a certain, very visible strength of hers helped her along too. You mean her beauty? The proof is that the moment she started working there, she was instantly assigned to the public relations department and was put in charge of negotiating with other companies. Of course, the company wasn't hoping to utilize only her ability to negotiate. A very cute girl just joined Knight's public relations department. At first, I thought she was some sort of celebrity. We've invited her out many times, but to no avail. And that's not coming from just 1 or 2 people in the industry. Aww, Setsuna. I am glad though that he pointed out that she is qualified, like actually qualified in addition to her looks, because otherwise that'd be a little insulting. It's not an environment that promotes becoming an artist, nor does it usually make distinctions between people. But still, she's enjoying a lively day-to-day life, working at a place in constant contact with music.
ただいま
And now, that rumored public relations beauty.
ちょっと遅いよ。時間ギリギリ。
God, she's so beautiful. I love her so much. And I'm glad they gave her a new outfit. We've seen 2 new outfits from her already, and we're only in the first little bit of the game. Is currently making dinner for me in my apartment.
悪い
ほら、ちょうど今土曜になっちゃった。
Okay, I guess it's dinner at midnight then. Typical of Haruki.
悪い
Following Setsuna's finger, I can see that the clock's hands in my room are pointing directly at 12 o'clock. Sometimes Setsuna has to head directly to work from my apartment. In order to overcome her habit of staying in bed too long, she bought an alarm clock with a snooze function. Why snooze function?
先週は春樹くんが土日出勤だったから危うくルール違反だったんだよ。誓う。必ず1週間に1度は会うって。
Last time we met was last Friday. I sent Setsuna home before the day was over, so if we hadn't met then, I would have broken our promise. But
ついさっきあったじゃんうちの会議室でさ
あれはナイツレコードの小木曽であって春樹くんの刹那ではありません。
and she's still just as greedy and childish as usual, but we love her for that. I was going to let out a sigh, but the exhaustion from my sprint got in the way.
春樹くん、だんだん1週間ルールに対していい加減になってきてるよ。先月だって2度も破りそうになるし。
いやだからそれは
Incidentally, Setsuna's indignation also got in the way. But still, Setsuna knows full well that it wasn't my fault. After all, we're both now working members of society. After I finished the proofreading Matsuoka-san asked me to, I checked the materials Suzuki-san asked me to look over. As for Kizaki-san's layout, I'll get back to him on Sunday. And from 10 o'clock, I reviewed Matsuoka-san's proposal together with Hamada-san and Suzuki-san. For some reason, I was given the role of editor. At 11 p.m., I felt that Matsuoka-san was being slightly ridiculous when he casually thanked us for our hard work and promptly left. And that's not to say it's super rude, because in Japanese, before you leave, you always have to thank people for their hard work. So that's not just him being rude. I couldn't do anything about that, right?
やっぱり付き合いが長くなるにつれて私のこと飽きてきちゃったのかな。だとしたら私もう立ち直れないかも。
そんなわけ
ないなんて言い切れる？私のことまだ好きだって。
Oh, of course.
言い切れるに決まってるだろ
春樹。
Even though many regrettable things have happened, regrettable, that's what he calls them, I will never waver in my answer if someone asks me whether I still love Setsuna or not. What? You literally just wavered. You what? He couldn't even say the full sentence right off. As the sound of the kitchen knife stops, I capitalize on the moment Setsuna stops cooking as she gives non-stop complaints, hugging her from behind.
もうすぐそうやってごまかそうとする。
Such a pervert. Because Setsuna is so charming when she's sulking. There's just no way I could do something as wasteful as getting tired of her, slighting her, or getting too used to her. Actually, that last part might not be so bad.
はるきくん、暑いよ。
駅からずっと走ってきたから。
He's probably just sweaty and gross. I decide not to ask which part of me she thinks is warm.
約束守るため？
それもあるけど、1秒でも早くせつなとこうしたかったから。
I tightly adhere my entire body to Setsuna's back. I bury my face into her hair and suck in her fragrance with every heavy breath. I push my abdomen against her soft back. It's so descriptive, such a little thing. My toes on her heels, my thighs on the back of her thighs, my knee on the back of her knee.
はるきくん。
And on her butt. Really? They just had to add that sentence in. There's no way I could get bored of her. On the contrary, my feelings and my desires only deepen as time passes. To the point where I can't calm myself down until I go all the way right now. I'm sure Setsuna too, with his...
せつな、もう俺。
やめて、はるきくん。
Literally, she's trying to cook dinner. This is dangerous. You're gonna burn the food. Or at least, so I thought.
ご飯もうできてるから早く食べようよ。
Yep, and dinner get in the way as usual. You've been dinner blocked.
ダメ？
ダメ。
I'm already completely in the mood, while Setsuna, on the other hand, pushes me away with a composed demeanor.
でも俺、今は飯より。
Haruki is hopeless.
今は晩ご飯。
せつの。
That's what you get for being late. If you came home on time, you would have been able to get Setsuna and dinner. As it stands now, you're only getting dinner. In the beginning, there was a purpose in trying to distract her. But now, my feelings towards Setsuna are overflowing, and I've reached a point where I can't hold back anymore. Setsuna knows full well that I'm on the brink.
だってご飯は今食べないと冷めちゃうんだよ。
それは。
けど私はいつ食べても熱いままなんだよ。
Oh god. What a horrible cheesy line.
確かにそうだけど。え？
My head was so filled with thoughts of disappointment that I almost failed to hear that last line. How could you not? And welcome back. We are picking up after the scene where Haruki and Setsuna reaffirmed their love for each other in ways you could probably imagine. And now we're picking up here in the bed together afterward. After we made love, we decided to bathe together to rid ourselves of the impurity we bestowed upon each other. What a weird way of thinking. Only to stain each other once more.
もともとは木崎さんって先輩が立てた企画で、当然本人が行くはずだったんだけど、その週に急に結納が決まったんだとか。
へえ、結婚するんだ、その先輩。よかったね。
Aww. Setsuna's thinking about it. After we got out of the bath and dried ourselves, we both crawled into bed without putting on anything. After all, there's no need for us to put anything on. Having our bodies touch one another is more than warm enough.
本人は良かったかもしれないけど、だからって1年目の新人に海外出張を押し付けるかな、普通。
ほんと期待の新人なんだね、春樹くん。私なんか関東から出してもらったことないよ。
そりゃ仕事の内容が違うから。
でも上の人たちは日本中を飛び回ってる。私はまだそこまで信頼されてないってこと。
だからそれが普通なんだって。
Thinking it a waste to fall asleep on the night before our days off, it happens pretty often that we talk the night away in bed. And before we know it, the sun is already up. That's very un-Haruki-like, because then he's gonna end up sleeping in. Or actually, being Haruki, he would probably just sleep like 1 or 2 hours and then get up, because he never sleeps. And when we finally do fall asleep, Setsuna will usually remain in bed until evening, after which she will lament having wasted the weekend away.
でもヨーロッパか。ヨーロッパね。
なんだよ。
なんでもない。
It's just that Setsuna is having a harder time finding a proper topic of discussion than usual today.
遠いよね、ヨーロッパ。学生の頃だったら行きたくても行けなかったよね。
そりゃまあ。
でも今なら行ける。お金も行動力もあの頃とは段違いだもんね。だからどこへでも飛んでいける。
I guess, but like so can you.
さ、セツナが何を心配してるのか知らないけどさ。
別に心配なんかしてないよ。飛行機が落ちたらとかテロが起きたらなんていちいち心配してたらキリがないもんね。
ヨーロッパにいくつの国があると思ってんだ。どれだけ広いと思ってんだ。
会話が噛み合ってないよ、春樹くん。
I'm not even sure what you're talking about though, Setsuna. Setsuna is probably thinking about one single country. An EU member state with German as the official language. Its capital city is also known as the City of Music.
訪問先はスペインとイタリアとフランスだけ。
That's why I told her this trip doesn't include that certain country. It's like I'm giving her the itinerary of my graduation trip. Honestly and straightforwardly. Well, obviously, you can't just not give her your itinerary flying out of the country.
それ以外の国には一歩も足を踏み入れたりしない。約束する。だからさ。
そんなこと何も気にしてないよ。ただ無事に帰ってきてくれたらそれでいい。
ありがとう。
Even though she said, I'm not worried about anything, Setsuna contradicted herself by making a wish. In order to put Setsuna's mind at ease, I let go of her shoulder and hold on to her hand. When I find Setsuna's hand, she slowly intertwines her fingers with mine.
お土産期待してるね。
Thanks. Get her 3 souvenirs, one from each country.
もちろん。リクエストがあったら何でも言ってくれ。
ねえ、家族の分もお願いしていい？お母さんバッグとか欲しがると思うんだ。あと高弘もちゃんと選別を渡すから。
Oh, she's so sweet. Also, Haruki ends up getting her family gifts that really solidifies the relationship between them. It makes it a little bit stronger, I think.
善処します。
There's nothing to worry about, and there's nothing to lament. Because it's already been 5 years. In these 5 years, we've formed an unbreakable bond that no one can cut through. Ha! 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 That's why.
それで出発はいつなの
？12月17日。
This is bad.
戻ってくるのは？
In truth, what worries me the most this time isn't where I'm going, but the scheduling. Because...
春樹くん
12月24日
何時の飛行機？
に向こうを立つ予定だから、 成田着は25日の夜。
Oh, that's rough. Because in Japan, it's not the 25th that's the big important day. It's actually the 24th. It's a big, big day for couples. And so, especially for someone like Setsuna, who loves the holidays so much like that, missing Christmas Eve is like missing Valentine's Day, except bigger. As you can see.
痛いってせつな。
The nails of her hand, that's entwined with mine, suddenly dig into me, and her resentful scream reverberates painfully in my ear. Well, it's only natural for her to be upset.
クリスマスイブは1週間ルールは
Uh-oh.
ごめん。
Even though I managed to keep it just earlier, she still got sulky. But now our 1-week rule is truly put to the test. On top of that, not being able to see each other on Christmas Eve. That's fatal for a couple.
ごめんじゃないよ。とっくにホテルだって予約したじゃない。ハルミインテグラル。
Wow. Why didn't he tell her this earlier? Why wasn't he like, oh, by the way, I have a work trip. We need to cancel a reservation. Don't let her find out during pillow talk. Are you... Haruki is so dumb sometimes.
その今ならまだキャンセル料発生しないし。
In order to make up for what happened there 2 years ago, since last year, we planned on going to that hotel every year. Wow, they really just... I don't know, I would like to stay away from bad things that happened like that, but I guess jumping back into it's one way to do it. So, we're gonna go ahead and stop there for today's episode. So, thank you so much for being here with me in the first episode of Coda, and I'll be back to you with the next episode shortly. Until then, hope you take care. See you!